Hello everybody and welcome once again to WrestleMinute. My name is Jack, live event host for such wrestling promotions as Chikara, Kaiju Big Battle, Ring of Honor, Bar Wrestling, Evolve, Wrestle Circus, and many, many, many more. But above all of that, I am a great big fan of professional wrestling. And guys, this week was nothing short than the biggest week in professional wrestling history. I don't really think that's hyperbole. In the span of 7 days, we saw the season premiere of Raw. We saw AEW on TNT go head-to-head with NXT on the USA Network. We saw the debut of Smackdown on Fox. And we saw Hell in a Cell on Sunday featuring Bray Wyatt as the Fiend going against Seth Rollins, and it was just such a news-filled week that I really think we should dive right in. What do you say? And we're gonna start things off with the season premiere of Raw. It always kind of gives me a chuckle when I say season premiere because they don't even take a week off. But we got a new set, we got a new theme song, and we got Bobby Lashley making out with another man's wife. Okay. This kind of just came out of nowhere. I feel like it was to bring viewers, we were wondering what's going on, I'm wondering what's going on, so it certainly accomplished that. But definitely weird, especially since we had the Maria Kanellis, Mike Kanellis, who's the baby angle. I feel like they're very similar and they're side by side and we haven't resolved one. Maybe one's gonna feed into the other, I have no idea. We're gonna wait and see on that one. We also got Brock Lesnar beating the crap out of Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic. And when he picked the kid up, man, it almost looked like he was going to give him a tombstone. It was very scary. But then we saw the debut of Cain Velasquez, UFC superstar, the guy who actually beat Brock in a real fight. And this definitely got things moving. It was a hot Monday night. And overall, I would say Raw got off to a good start. And that takes us to Wednesday. On Wednesday, we saw the premiere of AEW Dynamite on TNT. It was also the premiere of NXT on the USA Network, and now they're gonna go head to head. This is the Wednesday night war. We're seeing it right now. Well, this week AEW one-handedly in the ratings. They got about 1.5 million viewers. It was a really entertaining show. There were some hiccups here and there, but that's to be expected on your first show. But all in all, I did like the pacing. I thought there was a lot of wrestling. The production was amazing. And, there were just little things that I thought could have been a little bit better. For instance, I think the commentary lacked the energy that it did back in the Monday Nitro days when Nitro was on TNT. There was this kind of electricity, this energy in the air. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what that was, but all in all, it was a strong program, and most importantly, it's an alternative for wrestling fans. If you're tired of what WWE is offering, you got something else now. It's also great for professional wrestlers. They've got leverage now when negotiating their contracts. But that's not to say NXT didn't put on a good show too. NXT is full of talent, like chock full of talent. They've got so much talent, they can't even get them all on TV. So the wrestling is off the chain, and Wednesday nights is gonna be the new destination for wrestling fans going forward. And on we go to Friday with Smackdown on Fox, the $1 billion man on the $1 billion show, literally $1 billion show. Fox has invested so much money in Smackdown, and it looks like they're trying to make it a very sports-oriented show, like real sports. Like they want to involve real football players, real boxers, real MMA guys, because Fox is the home of so many a lot of sports, like NBA and NHL and the NFL. So they brought out this boxer, Tyson Fury. I didn't know who he was, but he's a big deal. He's really cool. He looks like a professional wrestler, He's got like a bald head, he's got a beard, he was wearing a suit with no shirt. He looked very cool. They're gonna do a feud with him and Braun Strowman, and that's entertaining. Also, we saw the return of Cain Velasquez, from Monday night. He's definitely going to feud with Brock Lesnar. That's very exciting because, in real life they have heat, he beat the crap out of Brock Lesnar in the UFC. So I think WWE fans are dying to see something like that. And they brought out all the stars, man. Vince was there, Stephanie was there. We saw The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He somehow had time off from being in every single major Hollywood movie to do Smackdown, which is cool because Smackdown is literally layeth the smacketh down. That's his catchphrase. He created Smackdown technically. So it was a big show, a lot of stars. It had a big feel. It's on a big major network, and now we're gonna see where they go. Fox feels like their $1 billion was worth it. There were some things that had me scratching my head. Kofi Kingston just got squashed. Brock beat him in 9 seconds. And I think I was expecting Brock to go ahead with that, to grab that belt. If it's going to be more prestigious when he takes on Tyson Fury, if he has the title. And, Kofi's had a pretty good run. In the modern day era, a 6 or 8 or 9 month run is pretty darn good. But as a 9-second squash, he could have kicked out a 1 F5. You could have given F5, kick out a 1 F5, and then one more F5, and that could have done it. That would have given him a little something. They didn't need to squash Kofi quite that hard. But, other than that, I personally, I've made it no secret, I've said in the past, I'm a big fan of Brock Lesnar. I like when he has the belt. I think it gets a lot of heat, and he's a legit champ. And I think going forward, Fox is going to want a champion that is, someone who is well known in other sports like UFC. And from Friday, we go to Sunday for the WWE pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. And I really wasn't expecting much from this pay-per-view. It was exciting knowing that we were going to get the Fiend in a title match, like so early in the Fiend's run. He's the hottest thing. And Bray Wyatt has created the hottest thing in wrestling with his Firefly Funhouse and his character, the Fiend. He's easily the hottest thing in wrestling. So having him already fight for the title, especially in a match like Hell in a Cell, you kind of feel like, well, wow, what's going to happen? So there was some anticipation going into that, but otherwise, I didn't really feel like there was too much going into this pay-per-view. But then when I watched the pay-per-view, I gotta say, everything was good. All the matches were good. There wasn't really a bad match on the show. I was really impressed. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns against Luke Harper and Eric Rowan was really good. I liked the Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch title match. Just everything was pretty good. Randy Orton took on Ali, and there was this really cool spot where Randy Orton went up for the RKO, and Ali blocked it by doing a handstand. And I've never seen that before. That was really innovative, really cool. I love that match. And like I said, there wasn't really a bad match on the show, including the main event. It was exciting going into it, and I thought it was very intense. There was a lot of violence. We were establishing the Fiend as this character that's almost impervious to pain, but then came the finish. There was already some wackiness going into this match. There was a red light, hue over the whole thing. Instead of just having the lights, it was all red, and the Hell in a Cell was already red, so it kind of felt like a nightmare. And that's cool, dude. I'm down with that. That's awesome. I love that. I was a big fan when they did the Sin Cara thing and they always had the lights. And I remember a long time ago when Cain used to come out, they used to do the lights. I think that's cool. It's different and it adds atmosphere. I'm all for that. The finish of the match, they did a fuck finish, which Seth Rollins was about to hit Bray Wyatt with a sledgehammer, and the referee was like, no, don't use a sledgehammer. That's too violent. But the Hell in a Cell is a match where there's complete violence. Mick Foley got thrown off the roof of the Hell in a Cell, and then through the Hell in a Cell, and then thumbtacks, and that wasn't a DQ. So I don't think it's not. I thought it was impossible to have a DQ in the Hell in a Cell. So in that respect, I didn't understand it, and it was confusing. They didn't really establish that. But I also understand that they were gonna have to do a fuck finish, and that's okay because I didn't want Bray to get pinned, in his first real match. So, but it could have been something else. I don't know that I was maybe $1 million Fiend minions could have popped out of the ring, and I don't know, something else could have happened besides that. It just really felt a little too anticlimactic for me. But, besides the finish being bad, my other big problem is that Hell in a Cell is just an annual pay-per-view. So you get to the pay-per-view and you have to do a Hell in a Cell match. And unless you really, really plan out your feuds to culminate in the month of October for this pay-per-view, it doesn't really fit what a steel cage gimmick is supposed to be. The steel cage gimmick, and especially the Hell in a Cell, it's the blow-off of a feud. It's the culmination of a feud. You've had so many matches, and there's been distractions, and there's been, disqualifications, and blah, and countouts. And Hell in a Cell is the final match where you settle the score. It's the last resort to settle this feud. And that's not what this was. This was the first, this is setting up the feud. The Hell in a Cell is what starts the feud. We're going to continue it after Hell in a Cell, and that's not the purpose of the Hell in a Cell. That's not the purpose of a steel cage match, and I don't really feel like I'm being an old school wrestling fan by saying this, because that's the purpose of the steel cage, to culminate a feud and have it be at the end. And that's hard to do when you've got October, and it's definitely going to be Hell in a Cell. It's hard to build, you got to really plan ahead, is what I'm saying. But I guess, that being said, I am glad they didn't pin Bray Wyatt. That would have been the wrong decision. I would have maybe rather him won the belt, but I'm glad he didn't suffer a pinfall victory. So, I wasn't so upset with that. But the fans in the arena were very vocal, and they were chanting all kinds of things. They were chanting for AEW. They were chanting to restart the match. They were chanting for refunds. So, the fans definitely weren't happy, and I think that, WWE is going to have to be, they're going to have to be very careful. They're going to pay attention to what the fans want, because the fans have an alternative now with AEW. And they're a very serious threat. And no matter what they say, they're going to be taking them as a serious threat from now on, because, fans have an option now besides just complaining online. They can just switch. They can just switch and watch a different show. And it's the first time they can do that in, almost about 20 years. So once again, biggest week in wrestling history. Wow, so much action and fun and excitement. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen in the second week? Who the fuck knows? All I know is I'll be here to report on it right here on WrestleMinute. My name is Jack. Thanks, everybody.